Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Welcome back to the Freelanceverse. I see people are arriving slowly. If you could just let me know, please, in the chat if you can hear me well, if the audio is good, the image is good, and then we can get the Q&A going. Yes, people are arriving. Please also let me know wherever you're watching from. I'm always curious about that. And I'm asking for people to say if the connection is stable because I'm doing this from somewhere else. I'm not at home. I'm currently in an Airbnb. That's why I need to make sure the connection should be stable, but please let me know. I see a thumbs up, so that's already a good sign. So it is time for another Q&A on the channel. As you know by now, I do these live every, let's say, every 8 to 10 weeks, I would say, and it's been a while since the last one. The last one I did with Robert Gebhardt. I see no chats coming in, so I'm not sure, but the microphone is on. Oh yeah, another thumbs up. So I'm just assuming all is well. So please let me know in the chat if you have any questions. I'm going to be live for, let's say, about half an hour. I have questions prepared as well because this will also become a video for people that want to watch it later. So if unless there are questions from the live chat, I will just answer the questions that I have prepared here. All right, people are still coming in. I'm just gonna. Well, let me address quickly where I am. I'm just in an Airbnb, still in Belgium, where I live, just not at home. I am in the south, in the nature, just working from here these days and just enjoying the last days of summer. I guess it's already here. It's already end of August. And yeah, it's really one of the perks of our job that I can just do that, come here, work from here, and enjoy the nature after work and before work and during work. So that's why I'm not in my usual setting. All right, Sabrine wrote a comment, so it looks like everything is stable. It's weird, it's covered by the like button here. I can't really read your message. I want to know how to handle, I think, faults in translations as a beginner. Okay, so you mean when you are making an error and then you are delivering that, or what do you mean, like the criticism when you made a mistake? That can be really tough, and it will happen in the beginning for sure. I have also done that, and it's never on purpose. You know, you're especially in the beginning, you're really trying to get everything right. You're rereading everything, proofreading everything 5 times. Maria from Costa Rica, hello, thank you for being here. And then you're finally ready and you deliver it, and the client responds and is just either unhappy or there was a mistake, the register was not okay. And it can be really tough. It can be a blow to your ego. It can make you say, okay, I don't want to do this job anymore. I've gone through all of that, but I also made a video about handling criticism. It's a big part of our job. The first thing is to stay professional, right? Don't take it personal. Don't become emotional, because that's not appropriate in this situation. So it's really important that you ask for feedback. If the client just simply says, oh, I wasn't happy with your translation, this was not good, you made this and this mistake, and they don't show proof or feedback, then you can't know if it was really your fault, right? So definitely always ask for detailed feedback. And then when they give it to you, you can really go back and see, was this your mistake? Because it has happened to me multiple times that negative feedback came in and then something went wrong along the line, and it was maybe partly my fault, sometimes not even at all my fault. So it's good to at least know what went wrong. And if you really made an error, then try to understand for yourself, first of all, why did this happen? Was this were you not focused? I mean, everyone makes small mistakes, right? The client has to understand that as well, that's easily I mean, you can easily just say that you've overseen something if it's a small mistake. If it's something in your workflow, maybe try to optimize that. Make sure you have a quality assurance in your workflow, because sometimes, especially when you work with direct clients, they would order a translation, and what they actually mean is that they want a finished product, right? A translation and a proofreading. Because when you work with agencies, usually there is not even discussion, because the agency then organizes their own proofreading, either internally or with another freelancer. So with an agency, you would usually do either the translation or the proofreading. But if you work with a company, you are the service provider, so you have to do both, right? So you have to find an independent colleague that you work with that does the proofreading. Where was I going with that? Yeah, the quality assurance. So you have to have an established workflow that makes you confident that the quality is okay, and also the client, right? So you can sell that, of course, in a way as a complete package. You don't need to tell the client, look, this much costs the translation, then I give it to this person for the proofreading. If it's a direct client, they don't care about that. You sell a finished product that is fully quality assured. So this way you can kind of work on errors in translation, but don't worry, it will happen. It's fine. Most people understand it. Be transparent, be honest, try not to find excuses. If it's really an honest mistake, just say, I'm sorry, it went through my, I didn't see it. And most people are receptive to that. Of course, it's really bad if it's the first job for a client. You might lose them, but always look forward. It's not worth it to think about clients you lost. They are gone, right? I mean, you can try to get them back, but it's much more valuable to spend your energy into finding new clients and learn from your mistakes. Frosty Summer, nice name. Hi everyone. Is it worth starting if you only know 2 languages? Yes, of course. Hold on. YouTube wants to send ads. I don't want that. You should stay here now. So definitely 2 languages is enough. That's all you need as a translator, right? It's definitely a misconception that you need to know 5-6 languages and work in all directions. It's probably, I would say, advantageous if you know 2 languages and you can really be the specialist within a field within this language. Then you are not distracted at all. You are fully locked in. You have your language, you have your specialization, that you can build your portfolio in that sector. You can become the expert in that. So yeah, definitely. Is it worth it? Of course. I would say it's even great. Like, most of my colleagues, me included, we work with 3 languages and not with more. A lot of them work with 2 languages. Mostly one of them is English, simply because the market is the biggest there. With most language combinations, you would want English in there. I'm saying most, I'm not saying absolute, not at all. Like, I know that French, German, for example, and German, French is a huge market. Same with Portuguese, Spanish, Portuguese. But let's say statistically, you want English at least as part of your language. And seeing your comment was written in very good English, so I'm assuming English is one of them. Sabrine says, that was so helpful. Thank you so much. Very welcome. I'm glad it was helpful. Can always ask follow-up questions if something was unclear, but I think that was your question. And if you look up on my channel, if you search for, I think, criticism, maybe you will find a video. I forgot what it's exactly called. It has an orange thumbnail. It's how to deal with negative feedback, I think is the name. There I explain it in a bit more detail, a full video dedicated to that. So maybe that's worth checking out as well. All right, we have 9 people in here. Do let me know where you're watching from and if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will take... oh no, one just came in. Mario, Adrian, what's the most important advice you would give to newly graduated translators or translation students? Wow, okay. Give me a second with that. The most important one. Okay, the most important I would have given already while you're a student. That's what I'm always saying on the channel, is to not wait with start. If you want to build a translation career, a freelance career, don't wait until you're graduated, right? Because then you are suddenly in a position where you are forced to succeed because you don't, something comes to a close and you want to start something new. So when you want to go into self-employment, I always recommend people to start while they are at uni or while they have another job, because it takes so much pressure away. It was the same with me. I did during my last year of university, I started, and by the time I finished university, I had graduated. My workload of translation was at around 50%. I could work like 2-3 days a week on it while doing the master still. And that gave me the confidence to then say, okay, if I don't have all the university stress next to it, I have so much more capacity in my brain to go fully into this, and that's how it worked out. So that would be my number one advice if you are still at uni. But if you just graduated, then it would be, I mean, I'm assuming you're doing all of the obvious things like the setting up profiles, etc. So I think the most important in that case is practice. So building a portfolio and networking, because it's very unlikely that you will find clients right off university without experience, without a portfolio, right? So you need to work on something that is realistic. Your goal should not be after uni to say, okay, I need to have my first client in September. That's very unrealistic. You need to have small goals. One of them could be, I need to have my specialization, or I need to have 10 contacts in the field that I want to translate in. I want to, if you live in a city and there are other translators as well, I want to connect with 10 people that live here and I do this for a living, and talk to them, have meetings with them, understand how this market works, right? Because assuming if it's with most universities, you don't really learn a lot about freelancing. So that first you need to kind of get the hang of that, and I hope there are a lot of videos on my channel that at least advise you in a way how to get started. And then once you have the basis, then I would go to the videos that I made, how to find translation jobs, right? There are so many ways, there are plenty of ways. What I would not do is go straight into the mill of very low paying jobs online that just give you a one-time hit of maybe like $20 and you have to work several hours for it. And it may seem rewarding in the beginning, but if you start at this point with very low paying jobs, then it's incredibly hard to get out of it. So I would rather give yourself enough time. If you can afford it, give yourself two years, give yourself 3 years, write a detailed plan of where you want to be within the next year, by 2026, by 2027, and try to build a sustainable business. And if you have to, just get a job next to it that pays the bills, right? I see a mistake that many people do is that they want too much in the beginning. Like you cannot. Okay, YouTube is always sending ads. Skip. You cannot. I've seen people become profitable and successful freelancers in like a couple of months. It is doable, but you need a lot of experience, a lot of life skills, business skills to do that. And I don't think people fresh out of university would have that. Good one, Mario, says Sabrin. Yes. Thanks for your comments, you too. It really helps. I'm guilty of wanting too much at the beginning. I'm just adjusting. Everyone is, of course, like that's normal. But use that drive that you have in the beginning as well for motivation. I'm not saying you should like sit back and take it slowly, not at all. Like the stuff that I did in the beginning, in the first 3 years, like you can't imagine. I was just I went to uni and I had to take the train for like over 3 hours a day. So I went there 3 hours a day, and 90 minutes there, 90 minutes back. And the whole time I was just working on the business and trying to get something going. And then at home, I was doing the assignments in the night, working on the business again. So if you have that motivation now, definitely use it. Not at all saying slow down, because it's not going to get easier. Sabrin, what would you suggest is a good specialization? I personally want to try marketing. The good specialization is the one that you are good in, right? There is no such thing as a good one or a bad one. I was also guilty of thinking that I was, Susie is here, hello. Now I lost my train of thought. Welcome, hello Susie. Yeah, specialization, okay. It doesn't matter at all which one is good or which one is bad. But what you make of it, right? I was guilty of that as well. I was going into IT at the beginning because in my head I thought, oh, that's good for the future. It's gonna be lucrative and stuff. And now I don't do any IT anymore, right? It just adapted to something that naturally came to me. I work now mainly in sports contexts, simply because this was not the plan. I just found the clients in that area, and I found that this really interests me. And I still do a lot of subtitling, which is mostly generalist, like just many different topics, right? So once you choose a specialization, doesn't mean at all that you have to stick to that. It's just your main bunch of work, and it should be your main focus of marketing, because it's the easiest to market yourself when you go very niche, right? Because that's how you reach the clients easier. If you say marketing, try to think to yourself, like, how would you market yourself then to your potential clients? What does that mean? You want to translate marketing. That's super broad, right? Who will need your services in that case? You need to really think it very through. Like, marketing is a great start, but then go deeper, much deeper, like 5 levels deeper. Try to find your perfect client, what you really want to, where you can excel, because as a marketing translator, full stop, it's going to be very hard to excel because there's so much competition, right? So maybe write it down on a paper, start with marketing, then write your interests, write your expertise. Maybe you have some experience working, maybe you have a degree, or simply interests, hobbies, and try to combine the dots, marketing with your other interests, and try to find something that fits you, and you will know when you found it, definitely. And then focus all your marketing efforts into establishing yourself as the person that does exactly these types of marketing, whether it's for a beauty brand, for a watch brand, for someone that makes mugs like this ISO mug. That's such a technical translator mug, but it's from the Airbnb, it's not mine, don't worry. But it's funny because the one that's renting me the place is also a translator, so we had some interesting chats. I hope that helped. Frosty Summer wrote something more. What translator applications are very popular, effective, efficient, and current? I'm so behind. 20 years, in fact. Changed my career paths several times. I used to just use dictionaries. Oh, that's so nice. When I was at university, we had to use dictionaries as well, and I always loved it so much, like the physical one. And now in my work days, I just don't use them at all anymore. It's so sad. But I would love to. I still have them all in my bookshelf, and I would love to use them, but it's just not feasible anymore. I guess the time pressure is just. I do some translations for charities where I really have all the time that I need. There is no deadline, and there I really try to try a few different things. Really try to hone my language skills. And there sometimes I dust off the dictionaries. But so, what is your question? What translator applications are very popular? So by application, do you mean where to apply the skills, or actually like job applications? Can you clarify that? You changed your career paths several times, which is a good thing, by the way. You can use that experience to then specialize in these areas where you worked in. That's already a great start. And you will have a large network then in 20 years of working in other fields, right? So you can reach out to all of these people and say that you're specializing now in translation in exactly this area. So being 20 years behind is not necessarily a bad thing. But of course, you need to adapt to a lot of tools. Translators use way more tools nowadays than 20 years ago. You use cut tools on a regular basis. Artificial intelligence tools are still on the rise, even though I've seen with some clients that they have tried it and came back because the hype was just too high. And some applications are just still ridiculously bad, which is good for us, of course. And I often tell my clients when I see that when they want me to post edit something and I see that it's just not at all suitable in this context, I'm very transparent with them and I tell them that doesn't make sense. If you want a proper translation, if you want a good localization, I can do it for you, but not with these conditions. And usually they are receptive to that and understand where the difference lies, when technology is applicable and when it isn't. So please clarify more what you mean with application, but I hope that helps a bit. And it's definitely not too late. You can always pivot. That's no problem. Sirin MKR, if we already have our specializations, how to identify our best clients? Okay, so do you have a specialization? Can you type it in the chat if you have one? And we can maybe go through the exercise together. Otherwise, I can tell you based on my experience, based on my specialization. I check the chat. Let me know if you have one, then we can do it based on yours. Do we have anything else here? Not at the moment. Sirin, yes, beauty and cosmetics. Oh, okay. I'm just working on a specialized episode about that topic. So the next one will be for you. We are still trying to find a date for filming, but I have panels on experts on a panel soon on the Freelanceverse channel where they will talk about exactly this specialization. So definitely tune in somewhere in September. I can't tell you exactly when, but that will be very useful for you. So let's think about it. You as a freelancer, you will not work directly with huge corporations, right? That doesn't make sense for you and also not for the client because they need such a volume that you can just not serve as an individual or even with a colleague or a group of colleagues. Large corporations like large cosmetics brands are probably not your target. They can be your target through agencies. You should definitely do that. And there are agencies that specifically specialize in beauty, in luxury products, in cosmetics, in fashion, etc. So you should look for that. And the thing is, like, these agencies will not come up if you just Google translation agency somewhere, right? You have to find very specific keywords when you're Googling. Try to use also AI tools to do that, like something like ChatGPT or Google Gemini are great for that. You can define your prompts so clearly, like you can really say, please find me a very small boutique agency that is located in, I don't know, on the countryside of Austria that focuses on quality translations, right? So you can really fine tune. It doesn't always work, but at least it gives you hints where, like the small boutique agencies that you want to work with, where they are located. So yeah, for you personally as a direct client, forget all the large corporations. That doesn't make any sense. These are not the clients we are after. You can leave that to the agencies, to the large LSPs. What you want to focus on is a small brand, either a young brand that is just starting, because then it's easiest to, sell them your services in a way that you say, I see that you're, I don't know, your name sounds kind of French, so maybe you are in France. I don't know. Please correct me where you are. But let's say you see a company in the UK, for example, that starts a new cosmetic brand, and they are getting recognized in the UK, and they might want to export, right? So you can be the first to reach out to them and say, do you have plans to export or to sell your online shop in French? I can be your language service provider. And these smaller companies are much more likely to work with a freelancer. That's how I found my first sportswear clients, direct clients as well. They were Norwegian, and they were like getting relatively popular in the Nordics, and then they wanted to expand in the German region. And I found them by chances on Twitter, and reached out to them in a DM, and we started collaborating. So of course this doesn't happen randomly, right? This takes hundreds of messages, hundreds of hours of research. So this is part of your marketing efforts. For me, it's usually like half an hour per day. How do you say that? I dedicate to that. So I would try to research new leads, try to research new connections, etc. So that would be probably your best guess as a sole trader, to go with very small beauty brands, makeup brands, let's say. I need to make sure that they want to expand their services into the market I'm interested in. I'm from Algeria, so my first language is Arabic. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. So same applies. Wait, now the chat is gone. Let me refresh quickly. All right, it's back. Yeah, same applies. It doesn't have to be in France, right? But you try to imagine what company you would probably found in your specialization, and this is your target audience. These are very hard to find because they're usually small companies, but they are out there and they're much more likely to work with freelancers. All right, it's already been 25 minutes, so maybe I have one or two questions more that I have time for. Teresa, hi Adrian, I love your videos. Greetings from Rio. Hello, Teresa, thank you very much. Susie wrote the comment, I've just started working directly with a huge luxury brand. They use agencies for the bulk of their work, but they use individual freelancers for their more occasional creative text. So it's possible. Wow, that's amazing. And wow, okay. Thank you very much for sharing that, Susie. And if you don't mind, if you want to share, how did that happen? How did you reach out to them, or did they reach out to you? That's very interesting. I have heard of companies doing that, because it's funny. Once I worked for a company through an agency, and then randomly the company reached out to me directly as well. And I was so confused because I do work with them through an agency. And then it was kind of a similar situation. They had like push notifications that were super highly visible and needed a 12-hour turnaround. They didn't have time to go through the agency. So they asked the agency to contact the freelancers directly for these push notifications. They reached out to me out of the blue. Okay, so another proof that marketing and visibility works. Susie is very active on LinkedIn, and that's how people find you, right? Random companies might reach out to you. Happens to me as well sometimes, but also a lot of just things that are not even worth pursuing, right? Every day I get these messages, but once in a while there is a gem in there that starts a new collaboration. Claudia Calderon. Hi, Adrian. As a way of giving back, I want to translate for non-profits. Any advice on rates? Are they comparable to for-profit? How to separate the two? Hang on. How to separate the two is rates are very different. If the rates are very different, you mean? Okay. I don't have like experience in that, because all the non-profit translations that I do are simply for charity. They are not chargeable, and to be honest, I don't know if charity organizations will pay for translations. I don't know. They are probably struggling with finding the money for it, but I would assume that you can give as a charitable act. You can maybe lower your price by 30-40%. I don't know what you had in mind. I can't give you direct advice on that. The ones that I worked with are all, well, two are actually translation organizations that provide free translations to people that don't have the needs for it and need public service information in other languages. And another one is a water organization that provides water fountains to schools and villages. And I mean, these are not. I do the outreach, the German outreach in Europe for people investing or like donating to these associations, right? And this is all charity work. This is not paid. How to separate the two if the rates are very different? Yeah, I mean, I would just like, even for you in your head, I would, if I were you, I would say treat one as profit and one as non-profit. So the charity one, I would maybe just charge as much as it covers your basic needs without any profit. If that's what you mean, that would be what I would do. Something along those lines. Discounted rates. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have you already talked to charities about that? Because I would be very interested if you are in contact with anyone about that. You can share it here, or you can reach out to me. I'm very interested how that works, because that would be also a cool video topic. Definitely, it's always good to give back, and we can do so much with language, right? People really need to understand very important texts and basic information. So with translation as a tool, you can actually do very much good in the world. I'm so shy, but I'm also working on social media. Oh, Mario. Yeah, I know what you mean, but if it really, I don't know how to say that. I was also shy, and I also thought, why would I ever do that? But if you want to follow, if you want to do this job, if this is what you think you need to do, what you want to do in life, then I mean, it's stupid advice, but you have to just do it, right? I mean, in the end, shyness you can easily overcome. Once you did a few, you don't need to make videos or live streams or anything. You don't even need to show your face. You can do very creative marketing campaigns. And mostly you would not reach out to your potential clients directly or or go there and meet them in person. Of course, that's a very bold strategy. If you want to do that, why not? But I've never done that. I've always reached out either with a social media message or an email, and then the shyness is not too bad in that case. But they might always give you a call, and then I still have to say, when my phone rings, I still think, oh, why do you call me? Just write me an email. Wow, so many questions are coming in. Okay, I have a bit more time, 5 minutes, then I need to go. Do you think that a great portfolio is sufficient to convince the client? What other ways would you suggest to use? Um, a great portfolio is not sufficient. They would probably also want some social proof. So if you already worked with clients, then and you can always ask them for reviews. I've just recently heard from a colleague who writes in her email signature. She has a little disclaimer and says, "Please leave a testimonial, or please leave a review if you were happy with my service." And then a link to a page where there is a full, people write a review if they want to, and it's also immediately a disclosure there that she's allowed to use that testimonial, and that helps a lot because I'm the same. Like, even when I book this Airbnb, I always go to the reviews, right? Reviews are really important for people. So if other clients say that you did a good job for them, that's huge to convince your future clients as well. But a portfolio is indeed very important. And one question that I got from the last Q&A was about the portfolio, how to build that. There, it's just important that you make sure that you're allowed to use the text in your portfolio, right? Because if you use it for your own commercial purposes, there can be some copyright issues. So don't just use any text that you worked for a client and use it in your portfolio. Always ask if it's okay. Or if you don't work yet with someone, you can simply just translate texts online that you don't use for commercial use, and then you can use it for your portfolio, no problem. And make sure your portfolio is very specialized if you have a specialization. It should not be all over the place, but it should showcase your what do you say, that your variety that you can write for different registers. So if you translate for beauty, try to not only high quality marketing text, try to also include manuals, for example, how to apply the makeup, how to some kind of how it is made, the process behind the material. Texts that are for a different audience then, so you have to use a different register. That's how you can build a great portfolio. Susie said some NGOs pay for translations. I would expect them to pay less than the commercial direct clients, but possibly more than agencies. Really? Oh, okay. That's interesting. I don't know enough about that, but okay. I forgot who asked the question. Was it Sirin? No, Claudia, I think, right? So maybe, Claudia, you can reach out to Susie directly. It seems like she knows some things. Happy to report back once I do. Okay, do that. Yes, I would expect that. Usually is strapped for resources, so definitely a way for giving back. Okay, maybe you two can connect and share some experiences. That's great. All right, let's do one more. All right, I've seen your messages, Sabrine. Thank you. Okay, people are connecting in the chat. Very nice. Let's just do it. You're right. Yeah, I know it's stupid advice, but That's what helped me. Like when I had 6 videos ready for this channel, I was still hesitating whether I should publish them. And then once I just said, oh, I mean, life is too short to be shy. Just do it. All right, the last question, Adrian. How would you present translation samples of your work so that possible clients know your work? Oh, okay. I just kind of talked about that, right? I did it at the moment. I don't have it like an up-to-date anymore. I don't update my portfolio, but in the beginning I regularly did. I just had it in a PDF file. It's important that it's consistent, so it's not all over the place. Like every text is looking different, right? So maybe you have a kind of like not a corporate image, but like something that represents your brand. Maybe you use a color in your logo, etc., and then you can kind of format the page with a nice outlook, with a nice with your logo on there, and then you can. What I did, I wrote a 1 or 2 line introduction, what kind of text it is, what the audience is for this text, what the intention is, where it was used, who the client was, as much as I was allowed to share. And then I put an excerpt of this text in there on 1-page PDF. And that was one part of the portfolio. And I think I had 5 texts in there with different audiences, different applications, etc. And then that was just one part that I sent to my potential clients. I also have a marketing material. I have a flyer. I have like a kind of not a pricing list, but an idea to give the clients an idea how the pricing will look like, that it's based on projects. I try to completely move away from any form of per word rate, or even per hour. I'm trying to charge everything project based, especially with direct clients, or only with direct clients. With agencies, that's very hard to do. It just gives, I don't know, I feel like that's what I would expect as well from a service provider, right? If I want an offer to fix my kitchen sink, I just want the price at the end and know how much it will cost. And that's what I'm kind of trying to do as well. So whenever a direct client reaches out to me, I give them just a clear offer. I say it will cost you plus minus 10% of this price, and that's it. So the portfolio is one part of the what is that email called? It's like not the first initiation. I usually don't send anything with it. It's just the first contact to get the name in there. But then when we start to talk about the business, I send a big email where I explain what I do, how I can help the company. Attached is my portfolio, my references from clients, my flyers, information about the YouTube channel. So it's like a full introductory email that I have prepared that usually goes out to the potential clients somewhere around when I have at least when I know who I'm talking to and I know that this person deals with localization or translation. Hope that helps. Something else? I appreciate your input. Okay, nice. Thank you very much. All right, that is all. 38 minutes. My working day is over. I go now out. It's beautiful weather, so I'm going to jump in the river. You can ask more questions in the comments, of course. I will answer them all when I have time. And that's it. And I see you next Monday. What is next Monday for a video? Oh, yeah, next Monday is a video that's very interesting. It has a lot of inputs from industry colleagues. I asked them a question and they gave me very good input. So I put them all in a video to give you guys the best advice possible. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Claudia, Mario, Sirin, Susie, Sabrine, for all the very active chat conversations. I really appreciate it. It's always great to do these live streams and interact with you guys. Have a nice day, evening, wherever you're from. And I see you next week again. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.